Well, that was one of the weirdest experiences of my life. I probably want to forget that. I should go talk to Crimson.
If it isn't Sammy the Kid, plop that butt down. Got a shot prepared for you.
Well, thanks, Crimson. What is that? A Bloody Mary?
No, a Bloody Steve.
Of course it is. How's the crowd tonight?
You know, it's funny. They're a little on the weird side tonight. Must be a full moon out.
Oh, you ain't kidding. I just had my first therapy session with the strangest fella I ever met. The actor type. Used to be an international celebrity back when I was alive. Seems like fame's a nasty drug.
Like Andy says, people are people. Doesn't matter what era they're from. Feeling good about your session, though?
He was pretty confrontational, but he was happy to talk about himself at least. Andy says the real clients to worry about are the ones who've got nothing to say.
I get that. Being a human isn't easy. You gotta be pretty damn privileged to have no problems at all.
Well, this fella definitely has plenty of problems. I think he'll be keeping me busy.
It's a big world out there, cowboy. Full of vampires with no self-awareness.
Well, ain't that the truth? Well, here's to change then.
To change?
You, drinking Andy's blood there?
Andy's? Nuh-uh, this is a plain old mortal drink. You think anyone would want to drink that man's blood from a bottle when they can get it straight from the source?
I suppose they wouldn't.
I'm not proud to drink blood, Sam. Wouldn't be doing it out here.
I didn't mean to cause offense, ma'am.
Not your fault. I guess I shouldn't be offended.
Who's telling you that you shouldn't be offended, Crimson? I know this blood drinking stuff is complicated.
Damn right it is. Look, I have customers to deal with, but let me give you some advice, Buffalo Bill. No therapy in here. What happens at Eminard happens with consent. Got it?
All right, that's fair, and my sincere apologies. It won't happen again.
That's right.
Oh, dang it. I've gone and made myself unwelcome. I better get out of Crimson's way.
You.
Huh? Do I know you?
I know you. I've been watching you, vampire.
Yep, that's me, drinking blood to live.
Yes, you do. I saw you. I see everything. My name is Panoptibella. It means I see all, and I am beautiful. I saw you in the kink room with Reinhardt and Maxi. And now I see that you are thirsty and would like to drink.
Yep, that is so.
Come, drink from my neck. I wish to see what it is like. Yes, I see now. That was very pleasant. Thank you. You will go to your coffin now to sleep.
Well, if you wanted a cuddle.
It is normal for vampires to enter a state of torpor after consuming the blood of another. I wish you an excellent torpor, vampire.
Thanks, I guess. I guess I'd better get some shut-eye. This night has gone on long enough.
Good evening, Samuel. I hope you are feeling well rested. I have a new client for you.
Another one? I think my caseload's starting to get a little crowded.
Worry not, my friend. I shall not unload all the world's cares onto you. I know how strongly this next client requires aid. She is a great deal older than most of the clients you've seen, and sometimes it is harder for the elderly to see reality. It took me far too long to do so.
She as old as you are?
Not nearly. Thus, she should be more ready for change than I was. Take a look at her intake form.
Dang, she died young. Makes me wonder why I waited so long to kick the bucket. Could have left a nicer looking corpse.
Alas, death does not often allow us to have much choice in the matter.
Says here she doesn't leave home unless she has to.
Indeed, it is a puzzle, as elder vampires can often be.
I sure do hope I can help her.
You will do your best, I know. Let me allow you some privacy. She comes.
Hello?
Hey there, how do I say your name? Is it, Medb?
Mev is my real name. Medby's just my screen name. You can call me Medi if you like.
Oh, mighty fine meeting you, Meddy. I'm Sam.
Is that all you are?
I couldn't rightly say. I ain't no more or less than Sam.
You're cute, strange cowboy man.
I don't know that you should be calling your potential therapist cute, miss.
Not in a touching bodies way. I mean, you're more like a rabbit or a mouse. Oh, I want to dress you up in a little mouse onesie and watch you scurry about. You can keep your hat on and be a little cowboy mouse. Oh, I like that very much. I'd keep you in a little cage and give you lots of cheese and, of course, a wheel to run on. You can be my whiskery little pet.
What is the matter, Samuel?
I think I'm out of my depth here, Chief. I ain't keen to be anyone's pet.
Older vampires such as myself can sometimes be uncomfortable to be around. I believe this will be an excellent challenge in setting boundaries, Samuel. Explain to her your boundaries. You will be modeling positive behavior and saving yourself a little trouble.
Yeah, just a little.
All the more reason to be clear and polite right now. Good luck, Samuel. I know you can do.
You look distracted, little mouse. Have you smelt a bit of cheese? Did your whiskers twitch?
All right, miss, before we keep going, I think we need to set a few boundaries. First of all, I ain't gonna wear no onesie. I don't think I could find one that'd fit.
I could sew one for you. I would make the neck hole really big so that your funny hat would fit right through it.
Okay, well, maybe I wasn't being clear. I don't want to wear a onesie.
But it would make me happy.
Well, wouldn't make me happy, miss.
Fine. But I don't like it.
This stuff about putting me in a cage and making me your pet are things you should be doing with a blood partner. Besides, I make the rules about my own body. If I don't want something, you gotta respect it or find a new therapist.
You don't want me to do things to your body?
You cut that out. I'm serious now.
Very well. Be that way.
I don't eat cheese, you know that. We only drink blood anyway. Mortal food doesn't exactly agree with us.
But a mouse who doesn't eat cheese is hardly a mouse.
But I'm not a mouse.
Then why do you have twitchy whiskers?
I just like the way they look.
So do I. That's why I think you should eat some cheese.
Well, I ain't gonna. Take it or leave it.
You're very mean for a mouse.
I think that about covers it.
Very well. It's a little boring. People usually let me do what I want to do to them.
Well, this is less boring then. It's something new.
I suppose you're right. It's very clever, strange cowboy man. May I still call you a mouse from time to time, though?
If it'll make you feel comfortable, I guess it ain't hurting me. But let's get to you and why you're here. Now, it said on your intake form that you're overworked, it said. You're not my first client with that problem. What line of work are you in?
I play video games.
Video games? Like Star Invaders?
No, silly. More like Overcharge 2 and Pension Impact. More of an FPS and RPG girl.
I don't know what them things are. I kind of figured video games were just a fad, like collecting ferns was in my time.
Video games are lots of fun. There's even one where you get to play a cowboy and kill bunches and bunches of people. Then you get to pretend you feel bad about it. But after that, you kill even more people.
Shucks, that there might give me some flashbacks. But you're working by playing video games? How's that?
I stream on Glitch. I have millions and millions of followers there.
Wait just a gosh darn minute. People are paying to watch you pee?
Of course not. That sort of thing would be on my Only Zealots page. If I could pee. Which I can't, because I'm a vampire.
All right, you gotta walk me through this. What's streaming mean if it ain't paying?
Streaming means to share your computer screen to the internet.
Like watching the cinema, only instead of people shooting each other, it's you answering emails?
Sort of. Mostly people just like to watch people shooting other people. Only it's little computer people that only look like people.
Clear as mud. I got some more questions about them funny things you mentioned, though. What's Only Zealots?
That's a very special website where my very special followers get to see me do naughty things for money.
You've been around a long while. Do you need money?
No, of course not. But I do like having mortal bloodbags who will do anything for me. They're very useful.
This whole thing makes me feel old.
But you're only a baby vampire, strange cowboy man. I'm glad you're not the kind of baby who poops and pees, though. That's quite icky.
I had some more questions. What's all this RPG and FPS stuff?
Role-playing games and first-person shooters.
Kinda dark to be playing games about the first person you ever shot. That ain't a good moment.
You're extra silly. It's a video game with a first-person perspective. It only looks as though you're shooting someone. I like the ones where there's lots and lots of blood. I end up feeling quite hungry.
Are they still using corn syrup to look like blood? It never looked realistic to me.
They don't use corn syrup in video games. You're very funny.
I'm glad I'm funny, I guess. Let me ask you something else about these video games. All right, I think I understand a little better. You're working pretty dang hard for all them followers. What do you need them for?
Lots of things. They pay my rent for me, they buy clothes and gifts for me, they dispose of all the bodies. And they let me kill them too. They're all so eager to die. Poor little lambs.
They're like servants?
Servants, little sheep, whatever you'd like to call them.
And they're willing to just up and die for you?
Oh, naturally. Sometimes all I have to do is smile for them. They find it enchanting. And they quite like my breasts and vulva.
Oh, I see.
Does it make you uncomfortable to hear me say breasts and vulva?
I reckon I just wasn't expecting that level of candidness.
Breasts, vulva.
Hey, come on now.
Oh, but it's so much fun to watch your little whiskers twitch.
So these followers of yours do a lot of work for you, huh?
But I have almost 100 million little sheep. It's rather difficult to manage them all and keep them happy.
Why do you need to keep so many servants happy?
I need my sheep. If I don't have them, I'll have nothing.
Is it really true that if you don't have your followers, you won't have anything? Ain't you got other stuff you're interested in?
I suppose I enjoy reading and video games. And I can do those things alone. There's also playing games with my body.
Oh, yep, there's that.
Which Americans don't do. You like to shoot people instead. Bang, pow. Ugh.
That ain't always true. But let's get back to what you were saying.
If I don't make them all happy, they'll turn against me.
Oh, wait a minute. That's one of them double control fallacies.
A control fallacy? What is that, Manling?
It's the idea that you either have complete control over something or no control over something. The idea that you can make everyone happy is something that ain't in anyone's power. And assuming you have no control and they'll all turn against you ain't true either.
That is true, I suppose. I can do things you couldn't dream of. But I won't show them to you because you're an American.
That is much appreciated, miss. And now about the stuff you were saying.
All I'll be is the lonely, crazy girl with a flat full of stinky corpses.
Let's ease off them labeling terms. Don't go calling yourself crazy.
But I am crazy. And I know how strange I sound to these short-lived creatures.
I reckon I might sound the same if I were around as long as you and seen some of the stuff you've seen. Besides, crazy ain't got any kind of real meaning. What's sane? You've been around a while, you know them definitions change all the time.
I suppose that's true. Don't think any of us are really sane.
I think that's a heck of a lot closer to the truth.
I just want to look at my body parts anyway. Don't have much else to share, it seems.
Come on now, you've been around for nearly 2,000 years. How in the heck could you have nothing to offer? I'm sure you could tell me all sorts of things about history and the places you've been to and the things you've done.
If I talk about things I like, my followers abandon me. Fickle little bloodbags. They always like it when I show off, though.
That's a problem with your followers, not you. Don't go disqualifying the positive things about yourself just because they don't see them.
You're very kind, Manling. If you were one of my followers, I might even let you live.
A very kind gesture, miss.
I can't help but think, though, I should make my little sheep happy. After all, they are willing to die for me.
You say you should keep your followers happy. Do you like it when they're happy?
Just because I kill my bloodbags doesn't mean I wish to be cruel. After all, they're so cute when they die with smiles on their precious little faces.
I'm glad to hear that, but here's the thing. When you say you should make them happy, you turn it into a responsibility. If you got 100 million people you should please, that's pressure you don't need. Get what I'm saying?
You are too sweet, little mouse. Like a sugar mouse. Someone might try to eat you.
Heck, they already did. How do you think I turned into a vampire?
You make me seem very silly for worrying so much about my blood bags. Not a very good vampire, am I?
Well, what's a good vampire supposed to do?
My blood father used to tell me that we were supposed to be gods. Told me that we would rule all humanity. I imagine he'd be ever so disappointed in me.
Well, blood parents are always complicated. They like continuing their legacies, but people ain't too good at being anything but themselves.
I wish someone would tell him that. He's a very bad listener.
Well, you should be proud of yourself for getting away from him. I know it ain't easy.
I didn't leave him. The druid sealed him away long ago. He'll slow our soul when he escapes. And there will be nothing we can do. Oh, it's gonna be ever so much blood.
I think we can handle a vampire. There's a lot more of us now, and I bet the bastard ain't even heard of a gun.
You don't understand. He's a wizard.
Well, last I heard, wizards ain't bulletproof. Let's give ourselves a little credit. I ain't gonna worry too much about this fella. Besides, if he is coming back to kill us all, we only got so much time to enjoy, right? These dang followers of yours have got you stuck at home, though.
It's better this way. It's not safe outside.
Well, why do you say that?
Because there are bad people out there. They've tried to burn me, touch me, enslave me. They are cruel and horrible.
I know you've been through some tough times, Mitty, and you got a hell of a lot of reasons to think people are all awful. But those experiences ain't the be-all and end-all. Well, there's a lot of bad, a lot of good, and even more in between.
Maybe. But it's safer to assume that it's all bad. Mortals are very afraid, and when mortals are afraid, they are quite cruel.
That's more of that all or nothing thinking. There's billions of people out there now, and more differences between each and every one of them than you'd expect.
But I don't need to endanger myself anymore. I have my sheep.
I'm sure we'll get to talking about them real soon.
We can talk about them now. They help me stay in my flat. If I stay in one place, I have power. Instead of them burning me, I can burn them. And touch them and enslave them.
With all due respect, miss, you're playing with sunshine here. Life is always going to change. That's the one thing we can be sure of. Your retreating from society is only going to make it harder to face the changes ahead.
Such as when the machines arrived.
What machines are you talking about?
The ones in the factories. The ones who made me leave the bog. Did not like that very much. Not at all.
Oh, look, I didn't want to upset you. You're here to handle the world a little better, and that means being honest about what might happen. That makes sense?
Yes. The machines keep getting stronger. I should be ready for them.
All right. Well, let's keep talking.
They used to call me Calich Namona, the Witch of the Bogs. I like it that way. I like it when they think I'm a monster.
Hold on a sec, Mitty. I get that there's safety in people thinking you're some kind of monster. But what I can't abide is you calling yourself one. Names have power. You know what they used to call me?
Fuzzy McWhiskers. Scaly Tail Sam. Ooh, Scurrying Sam.
They called me Slaughtering Sam. And as you might imagine, I didn't earn many friends with that name.
That's not very cute at all.
No, it ain't. I didn't feel cute neither. I felt like an evil bastard, and that ain't a good feeling.
I didn't say I liked being a monster. It just makes me feel safe.
Then let's find a way to help you feel safe without calling yourself a monster then, huh? But keep going.
If I want to be safe, I should show them what a monster I really am from the safety of my lair.
Medi believes there is only one course of action to take. We know this cannot be true, do we not?
If I want to be safe, I should
Well, why should you show them what a monster you are?
so that they'll know to stay away, of course.
And is that the only way people will stay away?
It's the way I know. I used to put severed heads outside my cottage, but the policemen don't like that very much.
So what if I said you should protect yourself by putting severed heads outside your place again?
I'd say you should learn otherwise. The police can be very mean.
That's what I mean. Should doesn't allow a lot of wiggle room. It might seem like it's just words, but them words can lock us up tighter in a bank vault. But let's keep talking.
Living alone is the life I know, anyway. Well, I've known for millennia. I can't survive in society now.
You know, you're what, some 1,800 years old? You're older than any government on Earth. You've seen the world change in ways none of us could dream of. Hell, you basically won the internet, and I can barely open up my Vmail program. You're way more capable than you're giving yourself credit for.
I suppose that's true. But I'm not very good with real-life people. Unless I'm eating them.
You're still disqualifying the positive by canceling out all them skills you got. You can use all that modern lingo I've barely even heard of. You dab, fam?
That was ages ago.
See what I'm saying?
You are very clever, sweetling. It is easy to forget how small and weak mortals are. But the world is a big place full of things that might try to hurt me.
Well, before you face the world, why don't we start with your neighborhood? Let's start slow. Take a walk around your block, 15 minutes a day. Just spend a little time outside looking at the moon.
I suppose if anyone tries to hurt me, I should be able to kill them or enslave them. Very well, strange cowboy man. If anyone does kill me, I'll simply become a ghost. Then I can whisk myself up your bottom with a little ghost needle and poke at your guts.
I don't think it'll come to that. Just spend some time outside and see how you feel, and we'll talk again in a month. Sound good?
Very well. I suppose my followers outside must be eager to carry my coffin home. I promised I would eat them when we got there, so shouldn't keep them waiting. Farewell then, little mouse.
Hoo-wee!
Well done, my friend. You seem a little out of sorts. Are you quite all right?
She was something else.
Like so many of our kind, she simply struggles to adjust to a constantly changing world. I think you will be of great help to her. She clearly likes you.
That's what I'm afraid of.
You are under my protection while you are here, Samuel. I guarantee no ghosts will travel up your posterior. You have done excellent work tonight. Please, relax downstairs. Summer will be here before we know it, and the nights shall become short once again. Rest in peace, my friend.
Tarnation. I'm glad the kids here aren't glued to their little TVs. I wonder why that is. I'll bet Crimson knows.
Giddy up, little doggy.
I ain't heard that one in a while.
Truth is, I'm running out of cowboy terms. What can I get you, handsome?
How about a kind ear for my troubles?
You got a real old school way of seeing bartenders. But in this case, you're right. I am a good listener. Lay it on me.
I got this new client. Makes me feel old.
250-year-old man feels old, huh?
Yeah. But seriously, I thought I understood people, but she's from another time, like. I've been around a long time, and I ain't seen nothing quite like this internet. But my client lives there.
And you think you can't help her because you don't understand the internet?
I remember when the first steam locomotive showed up and we thought, that's it, we've invented everything.
Really?
Laugh all you like. Point is, I'm getting old faster than I ever have before.
Here's the thing, cowboy. Nobody understands the internet. I don't feel old yet, though. Still just glad to be alive, thanks to Andy's blood.
Oh, yeah?
I know you've been curious about why I've been drinking vampire blood. You don't have to pretend. I've got a rare blood cancer. Andy's blood is what's keeping me alive.
Oh, I'm real sorry.
I didn't say I was dying. I said I had cancer. Stop making that face. I'm just glad I found Andy. Don't think I was quite ready to die.
Well, I, for one, am glad you're sticking around, Crimson.
Well, thank you kindly. So what'll it be, Sam? You ain't gonna dance?
No, I ain't gonna dance.
You owe me that story one day, cowboy. Here, have a little something I whipped up for Andy. Herbal blood tea.
No garlic, right?
No garlic.
Mighty kind of you. Maybe I'll take a nightcap. You have yourself a fine night, Crimson.
Adios, muchacho.
I think that's my last client for a while. My caseload's big enough. I'm starting to get overwhelmed. Maybe something from one of my books will inspire me. But then again, I could watch cartoons instead. I used to have a crush on Betty Boop, and I ain't ashamed.
Oopie doopie doopie doop. ready.
Good night, Uncle Max.
Well, they don't make them like they used to. I think that's enough action for one night. Time I got me some shut-eye. Good night, son.
A fine evening to you, Samuel. How are you feeling tonight?
Not bad, not bad. A little overwhelmed, but I guess I kind of have a lot going on these days.
Indeed you do. The mind is an easy place to get lost in, is it not?
You ain't kidding. Keeping all them cognitive distortions in my head and sorting through all my clients' problems ain't easy.
We are not machines, Samuel. I believe you will find that you can never handle everything at once. There is a term the mortals use these days, multitasking. It's a kind of meta-control fallacy. Even we must handle thoughts one at a time.
I guess. I just hope I can concentrate on my own therapy with all this stuff bouncing around in my noggin.
I do not expect you to be an exception to the rule, my dear fellow. Let us see whether we can clear your head. I would like to introduce you to a ritual I have learned for stilling the mind.
This some kind of ancient vampire secret? Something the old ones gave you that's been lost to time? Something mortals could never imagine?
No, it's just meditation.
Uh-oh.
That does not make the technique any less valuable. Now then, close your eyes. I will guide you through this process. Think of a place that brings you comfort. Where is it?
I'd have to say the woods. I always liked being in nature.
Then imagine the woods and let your thoughts come to you. Breathe in and breathe out. I shall let you begin.
I ain't cut out for this therapy thing. And it sure is a tall glass of water. I miss my princess. I kinda miss farting. Focus, Sam, focus. Who's got a pretty mane? Wonder what's on Batflix. Should I hook up with Reinhardt? I'm so bad at meditating. I like blood from San Antonio, not New York City. Relax, ain't no vampire hunters here. Who's my favorite horse? Is it you?
How are you feeling now?
Yeah, all right. Fine, really. All them thoughts just feel like thoughts.
What sorts of things came up for you?
Well, I thought about my clients. I thought about all them cognitive distortions. My horse came up a lot.
Your horse?
Yeah, Princess. She was my horse back when I was alive. I still think about her every day. I can't really stop.
I understand. I have bonded with many horses in my own life, but it sounds as though the loss of Princess was particularly fraught.
Yeah,
Would you like to start there?
not sure I'd like it. But seeing as it's come up, maybe we should talk about what happened to her. It's got a lot to do with my old gang. I mentioned them before. The Mystic Bastards was their name. They were the gang to join if you had nothing to lose, and I had nothing to lose.
That sounds like some Nosferatu thinking, my friend.
Oh, I can see that now. But it turned out I still did have something to lose. And they took that from me to prove my loyalty. They took my princess, killed her in cold blood, and made me watch the whole thing. They made sure she saw me too.
Oh, Samuel, I am so sorry.
I just stood there, watching her dying, with them big eyes looking at me like she knew I'd betrayed her. They knew what it would take to break me, and it's my fault for letting them do it.
But Samuel, these Mystic Bastards, it sounds as though these loyalty tests were a cruel, mechanical part of their indoctrination process. These are the actions of a cult. They had no special care for you or your princess.
Well, it sure as shit worked. They knew where to hit me, and it's my fault for letting it happen.
What they did, Samuel, had little to do with you personally. You were vulnerable, and they took advantage. This is what cults do. But Samuel, you are exhibiting a cognitive distortion known as personalization. You are attributing the Mystic Bastard's actions entirely to your own supposed failings. While it is natural to grieve for your horse, holding yourself solely responsible is neither fair nor accurate.
Hold on a sec, my head's hurting. I can't hold on to all them distortions all the time. Ain't personalization a lot like a control fallacy?
An astute observation, Samuel. Personalizations are often a form of control fallacy. While control fallacies often manifest as a belief that you have more control over external events than is actually the case, personalization is a more specific tendency to believe that external events are reactions to you. But let us leave control fallacies out of the picture for now. You are correct that keeping all distortions in mind at once is unrealistic. I would not interrupt your thoughts if I did not think personalization important. You are shouldering the blame for Princess's death. I can see that.
Well, if it ain't my fault, who else's is it?
The Mystic Bastards, of course. Let me put it into perspective for you. I will make a series of statements, and you help me identify the personalization distortion. I overslept in my coffin because I forgot to set my alarm. I bit Crimson's neck last night and missed the vein because I was distracted. It was entirely my fault. Batflix raised my subscription price again because they knew I would pay no matter what.
Well, that's the personalization. Badflix has no earthly clue who you are. They just raise their subscription prices anyway.
Just as your gang planned to isolate members from their former lives. Do you see the connection?
I guess so. I was just too stupid to see it at the time.
Ah, calling yourself stupid is what distortion?
Yeah, it's labeling. But I should have known anyway. I knew that crew was bad news. I just thought I was bad news too.
You should have known. That's another distortion of reality, Samuel.
All right, fine. Should statement, whatever. So what the hell am I supposed to do, Andy? Say nothing's ever my fault and I don't gotta know nothing? I was responsible for getting that beautiful horse killed. She trusted me, and if I'd been someone else, she wouldn't have had to die in that awful way.
I am not asking you to lie to yourself. Far from it. And I am not suggesting that you absolve yourself of all responsibility. But what would you say if a friend came to you with the same story? Would you tell them what they should have done? Would you call them stupid? You said yourself that you joined your gang because they were the gang to join if you had nothing to lose. I do not think this is a circumstance most people choose.
Yeah, I suppose.
Remember, Samuel, we are trying to reframe our thinking by clarifying these distortions. I know it may feel as though I am picking on you, but I am not. Let us forget what you should have done to make room for a different distortion. You are drawing a direct link from your emotion to the death of your horse. This is a distortion called emotional reasoning. I understand the guilt you feel, Samuel, but your guilt does not act on its own. This terrible thing, it did happen, and some choices you made undoubtedly created the circumstances for it to occur. You are not blameless, but let us restrict your blame to what you have actually done.
I'm sorry. I get awful worked up when talking about my princess. You should have seen her, Andy. She had these eyes. She looked right into my tainted soul and still loved me.
I understand, Samuel. We feel tremendous guilt when we fail an animal. When we look at reality, it is not to dismiss our burdens, but to process them fairly. I would like you to understand emotional reasoning so you can see how emotions color our thoughts. Please listen, and call me out when I am using emotional reasoning. I feel anxious. Perhaps it is the garlic naan I smell from the Indian restaurant next door. The mood in my club is somber tonight. I am sure it is a reflection of my own dark mood. I find myself in an irascible mood tonight. Perhaps I drank some tainted blood. You missed my emotional reasoning, Samuel. I feel anxious. The mood in my club is somber tonight.
That's the emotional reasoning right there. I don't think them folk in the club know too much about how you're feeling.
Exactly. Our emotions can feel all-encompassing, and that is purely biological. We are animals, Samuel. There is a small cluster of brain tissue at the base of the cranium that tells us we are safe or that we are about to die. The complexity of our existence is at odds with our biology, but we have the logic to recognize it.
Well, if reincarnation's a thing, I think I'd rather come back as a horse.
It is indeed a boon and a curse to have human complexity of thought.
No kidding. If I were a horse, I'd know better than to join any cowboy gang, let alone the Mystic Bastards. I'd be happy with a bag of oats and a field to run around in.
How did you end up with the Mystic Bastards in the first place?
Well, like I said, I didn't have much choice. Nobody would have taken me in at that point, except a hangman, maybe. I wasn't a vampire yet, so hanging didn't sound too appealing. The last job I did got my brother killed, and after that, my wife left with my daughter and I never saw him again. Can't say I blame her. I didn't have nobody. Ain't no surprise that a vampire gang would be the only people to take me in.
Aha, so that is how you turned.
Yes, sir. It wasn't pleasant. Not the candlelight and writhing body sort of affair you see in mortal vampire stories.
That is terrible, Samuel. The turning is never easy. How did they find you?
That job that got my brother killed, we partnered up with one of them Mystic Bastards for it. He knew where to find me.
And he knew you were vulnerable and that you had no place to go.
I've thought about that. Were they setting me up all along? Maybe. But whether they were or not, I really didn't have any place to go. I know when them wanted dead or alive posters go up, folk find dead easier and more fun. People saw me as outlaw scum when I was a kid, and there was no way they were going to be kinder knowing I was in a gang.
You know this for a fact. You are certain that no one would have any pity on you at all, that your only recourse was to join your gang?
I guess I don't actually know that no one but the bastards would have taken me in. Sounds like a cognitive distortion, huh?
I think you see the patterns now. It may seem like pedantry, and perhaps it is, but pedantry is the search for ultimate truth.
Spoken like a true pedant.
It comes with being terrifyingly old. You discovered the cognitive distortion before I could point it out to you. It is a cognitive distortion similar to Nosferatu thinking, so let us put that particular distortion out of our minds for now. Yes, things were grim for you, but your experiences caused you to assume that there were none who would favor you with a kind eye. You were exhibiting the cognitive distortion of overgeneralization, the idea that no mortal could accept you. This clouded truth made you vulnerable to the mystic bastard's approach.
Damn. Maybe we ain't wrong, huh? I should have joined the Foreign Legion or something. Dang it, should statement.
Your mind is not a cognitive distortion shooting gallery, Samuel. Cut yourself some slack. All we seek is recognition of our distortions, not perfection and not punishment. Let us test your ability to recognize overgeneralization. Then I believe we will have covered enough for tonight. Allow me to begin. Elder vampires are insufferable. They all think they know everything.
Wait, ain't you an elder vampire? You don't seem like much of a know-it-all.
That's right, Samuel. Though in all honesty, I used to be quite insufferable myself. I aspire to be more patient these days. Let me continue. It seems to me that being a werewolf is pretty rough. Vampires from Transylvania all have funny accents. I want to suck your blood. Who talks like this?
That seems like an overgeneralization, Andy. I ain't sure any of them ever sounded like that. Pretty sure they all sound American these days anyway from watching bat flicks all the time.
Correct, Samuel. I apologize for the offensive accent. It was employed only to prove a point. Well done, Samuel. Your ability to identify cognitive distortions continues to impress. But let us bring things back to you. I do not ask you to absolve yourself of the things you have done. You did not have the tools to be mindful of the thought patterns that made you vulnerable to the mystic bastards. I have seen mindfulness take root in you, though, Samuel. I hope this session has been helpful to you.
Yeah, I'm still sad. And still regretful about Princess. I think I'll always be. My not being mindful is what killed her. Every time I think about it, I just know I'm a terrible person who messes everything up. But I think the awareness helps.
It does. Then please tell me what cognitive distortion you just exemplified. Was it emotional reasoning, overgeneralization, or personalization?
I guess it was kind of all of them.
Masterful deduction, Samuel. Your sense of self-awareness is most impressive. Remember, cognitive distortions are not a cudgel to beat yourself with.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that. If we're spouting cognitive distortions all the time, ain't my clients gonna be mad at my constantly interrupting them?
You continue to impress. Yes, we cannot bully our clients with distortions. Thus, I find it is best to clear our minds and focus on a few during each session. Keeping endless distortions in mind is not easy for a therapist either, after all. I think we have done excellent work tonight, and I'm certain you've built up a thirst. I know this evening was emotionally intense. Ask Crimson for some scotch.
Drinking booze ain't exactly compatible with our biology, Andy.
By scotch, I mean Scottish blood. It's iron-rich and quite delicious. I age it in whiskey barrels.
That sounds pretty nice. I might just do that and call it an early night.
As you wish, Samuel. Rest well, and do not lasso yourself so tightly, as you say. You are deserving of love, especially from yourself.
I'm just gonna leave before I get more embarrassed.
Very well, Samuel. Rest in peace, my friend. Samuel, greetings. You are seeing Dr. Drain again.